in a remote rainforest. Thousands of bones. Evidence of a mass murder. The victims, possibly the most powerful people of their world. A royal dynasty at the height of its glory. Executed. Tossed into a waterhole. Over 1,000 years later, this pit holds powerful evidence. Not just to the fate of these people, but to the collapse of one of the great civilizations in history. A mystery that hints of passion, jealousy, and greed. Centuries before our time, night falls on a faraway land. A land of splendor, a land of riches, a land ruled by mighty kings, lords of awesome power, fabulously wealthy, enjoying all life's pleasures, masters of fate. But something is about to happen. Something all their power can't prevent. Everything is about to change forever. Cancuén, Guatemala. Once a teeming city at the heart of a great civilization, the Maya. A mystery is emerging from the heart of this jungle. An eerie discovery. Thousands of bones. Bones that once were people. Their discoverers can't believe what they found. In this jungle, the heat, moisture, insects, and acid soil usually turn buried bones to dust. But these bones are in near perfect condition. For archaeologist Arthur Demarest, it's a rare and exciting find. And a very unsettling one.
You feel like a detective going into a crime scene where there's some really weird stuff. There's a lot of things about it that are strange.
Strange and disturbing. There are so many bones. Too much death. Perhaps dozens of human bodies. Thrown into a pool of water, all at the same time. Something terrifying happened to these people. But what? And why? First possibility. Human sacrifice. Horrific to us, but for the Maya, essential to life. They believed their gods demanded human blood. The Maya gave it. And their gods gave them bountiful harvests and recognized their kings as sacred beings. But does human sacrifice explain what happened to these people? The evidence says no.
None of this looks like a sacrifice from the normal Maya rituals. None of it. The Maya would sacrifice one or two high prestige individuals with a great deal of ritual. and with specific techniques. This is a large number of people thrown into this location.
It doesn't look like these people died to please the gods. And they didn't die of natural causes. It appears they were murdered.
This is definitely the most gruesome and certainly the largest scale massacre that we've ever found.
A massacre with no known motive. Unknown victims. Unknown killers. A centuries-old cold case crying out to be solved. These shattered skeletons have yet to yield their secrets, but there's already key evidence. Pieces of pottery found with the bones. Experts date them to around the year 800 AD. A crucial discovery. One that takes us right to the scene of the crime. Conquén was once a bustling city-state, one of many that dotted an area the size of New Mexico or Italy. That area today is southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras. 1,200 years ago, it was the land of the Maya. Some 50 independent city-states scattered across the rainforest. The biggest of those cities boasted more than 10,000 structures and 100,000 people. The Maya erected magnificent buildings, created beautiful art, invented the America's most complex writing system, and devised their own mathematics. Maya astronomers charted every inch of the sky. They were traders, warriors, wizards. Whoever our victims were, they lived in a world of wealth and splendor. Their city wasn't the biggest, but it did have one very big advantage: location. Conquén sat right at the junction of major Maya trade routes. It was Hong Kong, Singapore, Amsterdam, Panama Canal. In this part of the world, if you wanted to buy or sell anything, you had to move it through Conquén. And Conquén had one other asset that guaranteed its greatness. His name was Taj Chanak. Around the time of the murders, he had ruled Conquén for an astounding 40 years. Every Maya city had its own king. But Taj Chanak was a superstar. His people attended great rituals where he offered his blood to the gods. Slashing his body, cutting his tongue, even piercing his penis in exchange for peace, prosperity, and life-giving rain. Wounding his own flesh for their sake. inspiring their complete devotion. Ruling them with a skill and charisma modern politicians would envy.
The holy lords that were really successful, like Taj Chanak, were the ones who would combine, a Beckham with a Mick Jagger, with a little Bill Clinton, and maybe a Machiavelli, a Kissinger, in terms of making alliance. If you can sort of see all those combined with a, Pope John Paul II.
Taj Chanak's extraordinary leadership and Kangquen's strategic location at the crossroads of trade routes could have helped him bring his city to the pinnacle of its wealth and influence. And he may not have needed an army to dominate his competitors. If anyone got out of line, he could have cut off their access to the sacred goods that poured through his city. Like spondylus shells and quetzal feathers. Without these sacred objects, no one could offer blood to the gods. Without those rituals, kings were powerless, and their cities risked divine displeasure. In the high-stakes game of Maya politics, Taj Chanak would always have held a winning hand. It's hard to imagine a mass murder in Kangquen while such a strong ruler was in power. But around 800 AD, death ended Taj's 40-year reign. And everything changed. Our victims met their grisly fate, and it wasn't long before the rich city of Kangquen also ceased to exist. But that's only part of the mystery. Within 100 years, all the surrounding Maya cities became ghost towns. After centuries of greatness, the Maya world rapidly disintegrated. No one knows why.
Forget the arts and the tombs and the glyphs and the science. The question is, why did they at the end screw up so badly?
Arthur Demarest hopes that Kangquen's hoard of bones will help reveal answers to that question. Because before they died, our victims could have witnessed the end of their own world. And their strange deaths made them some of the best preserved Maya bones ever found. Their killers tossed them into what is today a muddy pond in a forgotten patch of rainforest. But 1,200 years ago, it was a sacred pool lined with stucco near Kangquen's royal palace. The bodies sank into its muddy bottom. Silt and water covered and protected the bones for over 1,000 years. Now, these bones can reveal things no other Maya bones ever have. And what first emerges is more than disturbing. It's bizarre. Strangely misshapen skulls. The bones of babies. These were no ordinary